Hey y'all, what's up? Getting a late start on fabricating today, but all the stuff I did so far this morning needed done too. It just unfortunately wasn't metal fabrication. I did come in this morning and got the blankets put on the table, and the reason why is we're fabricating an aluminum pan today. That's something you got to think about when you mess with aluminum sheet, or really any aluminum, and you got a steel table. Most fab shops got a steel table. Don't grab your aluminum and just throw it up on the steel table. That steel will scratch the hell out of your aluminum. If you had a new aluminum sheet and you brought it in here and laid it on that table and pushed it, it would ruin your sheet. You could put, I guess it depends on what it's for, but you could put marks in that aluminum that would take a lot of sanding to get out. You wouldn't want to do that if you could help it. Yeah, I got to do an aluminum pan today, and the purpose for this pan is to, there's the company has a brush like you would brush finish concrete, and the brush is 50 inches wide. So they're wanting a pan that they can fill up with water to these measurements, that's 52 inches this way, that they could set that brush in the water in the pan. So we're going to use 1/8 aluminum, and whether you know or not, my brake is a 50 inch. So I can't do it 52 inches. But that's not going to stop me from making it. I'll figure out a way to make it where it'll work out just fine. I mean, that's a whole part of what you got to do, really, if you get this service truck out of here. It's like I always say, if you learn to work with what you got, you'll always have everything you need. So I'm not gonna let the fact that my brake's 2 inches short stop me from making this pan. We're gonna get this service truck out of the way here, get some aluminum brought in, I'll cut some pieces, and we'll get this thing put together for them. So I'll have a little bit more on this in a little bit. Go by to shear my ass. And I ain't paying 20 grand for an electric over hydraulic CNC operated press brake either. We'll make her work. Doing these little notches with a jigsaw. I was talking with I was messaging actually with one of my buddies up in PA quite a while ago. And I said something about cutting this 1/8 inch aluminum with woodworking tools. You can cut it with a jigsaw with one of these carbide blades. A circular saw that's got the carbide teeth cuts it really well. And I remember he said, well, I didn't know that. I'll have to try that. If you didn't know that, maybe you should. Because this 1/8 inch aluminum, it does cut really well with woodworking tools that have carbide teeth. And you can even use woodworking tools like a router. If you have a router bit with carbide teeth, you could dress up the edge of a piece of aluminum. Work on this aluminum with sanding pads with a backer like this, or flat discs like this. You'll find that with the aluminum being soft, it clogs up your sand and stuff pretty quick. And I really, if you're doing any welding on aluminum, I really gotta say that the aluminum grinding wheels that you buy, you don't want to use those. Boy, that stuff embeds into that aluminum and it makes a mess. But the sanding pads don't seem to cause too much trouble. And the greatest trick I ever seen with aluminum sanding with these sanding pads or the flat discs is they do seem to clog up with the aluminum being soft. If you get sticks of beeswax and you just put a little beeswax on your sander just like that, that's all it takes. These things will go right back to sanding that aluminum and they'll remove the material just beautifully. And that tip is interesting because I got that tip from a YouTuber, and in his video where he showed me that tip, he said that he got that tip from another YouTuber. That's how this information goes. And I'm telling you, this has been a lifesaver for me. So I'm passing it on. And just like anything else I think will help, I'm passing it on. So that's my tip that I got from a guy that he got from another guy on sanding aluminum. This TIG button from TIGcontrol.com, really amazing that little button can do what it does. The harder you press that button, the more amps you get. And it works. And how that button could be sensitive enough to feel the amount of pressure I'm just putting on my middle finger right there, it just blows my mind that it works. Now these are available for different machines. I got this on my prime weld, And the foot pedal that came with my prime weld is a good foot pedal. And I like a foot pedal, but it's just, you run into so many instances where a foot pedal is it just won't work. I mean, if you got to stand up or if you got to get on a ladder or something, if you learn to use one of these TIG buttons from tigcontrol.com and do away with that foot pedal, it really opens up different positions. You know, you might be underneath of something or like I say, on a ladder or whatever, and you just can't use a foot pedal, and this thing works. It's impressive. Voila! So I added the inch I needed to add by making these ends, and that made the corners so the corners were bent, you know, so the corners are rounded like that. Because I needed 52 inches and my brake only been 50. So that's how I did that. And I MIG welded the inside and I TIG welded the outside. Just because that's what I felt like doing. Alright. This is done. Moving on.